So in our last video we talked about the interface, the basic interface of Adobe Premiere Pro, and how we can just understand the things inside of it. So that's what we talked about in our previous tutorial. This tutorial we're talking about how we can just understand how to edit basically clips, and then we can work with the timeline, the project panel, the program panel, the tools bar, and the source panel also. So back on our editing panel, on our editing tab, let's press Ctrl S to save what we have done. So we're going to start by dragging in clips, and we're going to cut them, we're going to edit them. So we'll drag in this clip here. This is our first clip here. Keep same as editing settings, and I want to make this one a bit big, normal. If you want it to return back to normal, just click on Windows menu, click on Workspaces, then go to Reset to save layout. Reset to save layout. So you are currently reset to the way it is at default. So as you notice that this is very long, I can't see the entire clip. So if I want to see the entire clip, I'll just click on minus. I'll just make sure I click on my timeline, click on minus to reduce it. If I want to increase that, click on plus to zoom into it. To zoom it. If I want to zoom into the track, I want to see very well into the track. To see it, I will just into this track. This is a track. These are all tracks here. These are video tracks here. Video 1, V1, V2, V3. And you can add tracks. Just right click on this. Just right click on this. Then click on add track. You can also delete tracks. So you can delete this track, track 3. I've deleted track 3. Let's say I don't want track 3, I will delete it. I can add track. I'll just click on add track here. I need to add track 3. I can just click on add tracks. I can add a number of tracks I want to add. Let's say I want to add 10 tracks. I'll add 10 tracks after this specific track. After this V track, you know there's V track. There's also a video 3 track. So I'll add 10 tracks after video 3. So that's to make it 13 tracks. So if I use this if I hold this button here, I can click on this, I can drag it up. I was able to see all my tracks. If I drag it up, I can be able to see it on my tracks. Just move like this, drag this one down. I will zoom in, drag it down, I will zoom in, I'll zoom out. So these are my tracks here. If I move this here, move it, scroll up and scroll down, you're able to see my tracks. So back to track 1, I can also add audio tracks just like the other one. So these are my tracks, number of tracks, and I can decide to lock this track with this padlock button here. I can decide to lock it. Let's say I don't want to make any edit on it, so I cannot move this track because I've locked it. Then I can toggle my view, toggle these eyes. If I close the eyes, I'll be able to see it. If I on it, I'll be able to see it. Just like this one, I can solo it. Click on solo it, only it will play. Only this track will play. Then I can also mute it. The track, that means the track will not play. So that is that about that. To understand, so you have your audio track and video track. So you can either import images and videos to your video track. Then you can import audio, sound, music to your audio track. So that's that about that. So let's work on this video, and I want to zoom in into it. I'll press my plus on keyboard. Plus or equals to, press equals to zoom in, or plus. Now I'll press space to play it. Now I'll just move my play head. If I want to also scroll down the timeline, I can just use this scroll to scroll down this bar, this gray space bar here to scroll my timeline. My timeline it just depends on how far I can go. So I can use this to move. So I'll just move my play head to where I want it. So I'll press my back key to move back frames. So I can just be moving frame by frame. I want to move frame to where before I walked into the camera. So I click on C on my keyboard to select my razor tool. And I just click on it and cut. So I cut this and I click on this delete. And I click on this space. I can delete the space also. Click on delete. So I've deleted this space. So I'll press this one here to go back to the beginning. So this is where I want the video to begin when I walked in. So this is where I want it to begin when I walked in. So I want you to understand another thing. You can be able to duplicate this video. Just hold it and hold Alt. Then you drag. See, I've duplicated it. Okay, another way of duplicating it is you can just click on Control, copy, then you click here, then you just click Control V, you paste, Control Z. So I can just click on Control C and Control V. Anywhere my playhead is, that's where to paste. Now that's about pasting. You can decide the tracks you want to paste it on. You just make sure that this thing is selected in blue. If I select video 3 and audio 3 and I click on paste, that is where to paste. It pastes in that particular place. So that's where it pastes automatically. So I just want to delete it. Then I want to make sure my head is these places are just selected here. Alright, just video 1 is selected. So this is this. So I want to make an edit here. At this point I want to zoom into my track and make an edit here. At the point where I turned, yes, I cut here. I just click on my clay result and cut here. Then I move to where I started moving. I move the camera and I move to this place. I want to cut it out here and here, and I cut it here. So this is where I will move here. So I moved into this other scene. I didn't really move here. I was just calculating that. So I just cut around the video like that. So another thing I want you to understand is how to just work on the audio track. You notice you cannot hear anything. That's because the audio is very low. That is very low. So now for you to increase the audio, you can just click on audio gain. Right click on it, on the audio, click on audio gain. Then you adjust the audio to about let's say 30. The increase is very high now. It's very high. Very high. So that's how you can increase the audio gain. So I'm just going to Control Z. You notice the peak values increased here. The peak values increase here. Let's zoom in here. The peak values increased there. The peak values increased here. And it's very high. You can see it is over peaking. If I press Ctrl Z, you see it goes down back to normal. So you can use this waveform here to examine the movement of your sound, how high your sound is or how low it is. So getting back to this to the editing process. If I right click, I can also have paste attributes, remove attributes. Also, this one applies to effects. Also, you apply to effects. I'll show you. Can also click clears to delete. So don't worry about all these ones. You can unlink the audio and the video. So if you notice, if you import a video that comes together with audio, you can actually separate the audio from the video. All you need to do is click on, right click and click on link. Let's unlink this one. Right click and I'll click on link. Click on unlink. So we have unlinked these two. So you can actually make your audio fall before the video or after the video. So that's how you can understand that. Unlink. You can also nest. If you have two videos you want to nest together, you can just right click. You can just select two of them. You can just drag, left click and drag. You select the two of them. Then you click on it. Then click on nest. Click on nest. It will show you name nest. You can name it nest 1, nest 1, nest 1. Also, the time nested sequence. So those two clips are now together. Both the audio and the video clips are together. So they are together. As you can see, they are together. So I don't want to nest them again. I just unlink them. So now what you can understand here is you can also have your speed and duration. Speed and duration. Normal. The speed and duration, you can just adjust the timing of how the clip or the audio will play, the video audio play. Let's say it's playing at a regular speed, but if you increase it or reduce it, it becomes slower or faster. 100% is the normal ratio. If I increase this to 200%, it will play faster. Let me increase the speed of the video. So this is the normal video. Let me increase it to 200%. Speed and duration, let me increase it to 200%. So it becomes faster. Let me start from the beginning. So it becomes faster than the normal video. And if you notice, the time has reduced. The time has reduced. So you can see. And then return back to the normal size and the normal speed. So when you increase and reduce it, you can apply anyway, all the way around. So I'm not going to do much of the editing, Sham. I'm just showing you the basics of how you can understand those things. So you can just decide to drag in, scroll down, drag in any of your image here and just adjust it here. So you can cut your clip or you can trim it. You can trim your clip by just going to the edge of it, then dragging it back like this. You have trimmed your clip to where you specifically want it to be. So that's how you can trim your clip. Right. So what are we going to do next? So we've understood those things here. We've understood these ones. We've understood these ones. So we have our hand tool, we have our type tool, we have our pen tool, we have our split, we have the eraser tool, we have our ripple edit tool, we have our track select forward tool. So understand this type tool. It's just for you to make. You can just type anyway. You can just add text anywhere in your this thing. Just add everywhere. With the lead, you can just add your text anywhere in your thing. Then let's now look at how you can edit this text. So you double click on this text. Double click on this text, select the text. The text is also added to the timeline. You now go to effect controls. effect controls on your source panel. Then you look at graphics, you see text here, text, you open it up here. You can change your text, you can change anything here, you can just make edits to anything here in your effect controls, even without adding effects here. You can make changes here. So I want to change this thing to, I want to change it to Montserrat bold. So I've changed it to Montserrat bold, and I can increase the size, the font size, and then reduce the font size here. I can just make alignment to the left, to the right, to the middle, and so on. So I can make it all caps and small caps, uppercase, superscript, and subscript. I can even adjust the color here. I can change the color to white, to black, to white, to red, to blue. I can even copy my hex code and paste it here. Also, if I'm copying from another picture or so. So that's how we can understand that of that. So basically, that is why we can understand that and that. So basically, I can make, let's change it back to white. Let's change it back to white. Basically, I can make this text move. How? By using my keyframes. By using keyframes, adjusting the position or adjusting the scale. For example, now look at this clock icon here. If I click on it, it shows blue, and it creates a keyframe here. This is a keyframe. If I click on it here, if I move the timeline here, you note I can also move this timeline. This timeline here is the same thing here. Only that is for this. When you click on this clip, is working with the time of this track. If I drag this playhead out of this purple track here, you notice that it's not there again. It's not there again. You're able to see it here again. You see there, but I have to drag it back. But it works for this one. So let me just put it back here. So this I made a keyframe here. So this is the keyframe here. I want to make a keyframe on this scale 100. The scale is 100 now. If I move this playhead here and increase the scale to about 300, so the scale automatically becomes bigger. What do I mean by scale? It means the size of something. The scale of 100, the scale of 200, the scale of 300. So I've increased the size of that thing. I've increased the scale of it. So you can also rotate it. You can also rotate it. It will rotate along a particular axis. So that is the axis. So I'm just going to leave it at 0 to scale it. You can also opacity is also known as how you can see it. If I reduce the opacity to 0, you'll not be able to see it again. If I increase the opacity to 100, you'll be able to see it again. So that's the basic. That's the basic of your motion transform. That's your basic transformation. You can also move the anchor points. The anchor point is like, this is the anchor point. So you can move your anchor point. The anchor point will determine where your effects will take place. If I rotate, it will be from that anchor point. It will rotate around that anchor point. So you notice if you rotate it around this anchor point here, this is the anchor point, this blue thing here. I move it here and I rotate, it will rotate around that anchor point. If I scale it to scale around that anchor point, So I'm just going to make my anchor point back to normal 960/540. That is majority, that is mostly the anchor point. So that comes to that. So in this tutorial, working with scale now. So I noticed I changed the scale at this point in time. This is the timeline. I notice this and this, they are working together. They are the same thing here. What happens here happens there. So you can use just to refer to you can use this one here to refer to this one. So this is 100 scale. The scale is at 100, and if I move it, you can click this to go to the next keyframe. I'm going to go back to the next keyframe. Then you can click this one in the middle to create keyframe here. To create on that keyframe. So your keyframe is just like a point, is where you can just mark a point where you want to make a certain change. So if you notice, at this point here is 100, at this point here is 300. So between those two keyframes is just a period of movement from 100. As you notice, if you notice this here, a movement from 100, go back, from 100 to 300. If you are noticing the scale here is moving between that, then it stops at 300. Then it doesn't change, it just stops at 300, except I put another keyframe there. So that's the basic understanding of keyframes. So those keyframes work with every single effect on the effect control panel. You work with every single effect on the effect control panel. So you have to understand that. So just have to understand that. Opacity, scale. So there are many things. So I don't want to go into complex things yet. But remember, we're just talking about the basics. So within that period, my name just increases from David Odili small to David Odili big. So that's the basic understanding of those keyframes. So you can remember, you can use your type 2. You can also use your zoom, your type 2 to type anywhere on your testing. So I will show you later how to add lyrics or add subtitle to your listing in the finishing of the video. So we're just using these parts. When I walk from outside, I walk and I enter inside. That's what I'm going to do. That's the video from now. So this is our zoom tool. We use our zoom tool to zoom into the tab. You can use it to zoom. You can just use it to zoom into the tab. You can just use it to zoom into the tab. So yes. If you hold Alt on the keyboard, it will show minus. You can use it to minimize it. Okay. Also, we have our pen tool. Pen tool, we can use it to draw out a specific area in our video. Most of you can use it to draw shape here. So I've drawn a shape here. We can use that shape as a max, but that is too complex for us to understand. So we're not looking into that shape right now, just understanding the basics. Then skip this, go to wizard tool, can use to cut anywhere, make cuts in our videos. Then skip this, then this is our move to our selection tool, can use to select and can use to move about in this thing. So also noticing this is very essential. Here. Snap to timeline is very essential. Make sure it's always on so that your videos can snap to each other. If it's off, it's not able to snap. If it's off, you can just move it around. But snaps help you to let it to stay in a particular place. You understand the snap. So if you can see, it snaps into this other clip here. Let me zoom in. Notice it snaps into this other clip here. This clip I'm moving now, it snaps directly into this clip here. Especially where there's a cut. So to make sure it snaps. Notice it's showing me a black line there. Make sure it snaps into it. If I remove the snap here, it doesn't show me that black line, it doesn't help me snap, so I can just move it freely. So make sure your snap is always on. So we have understood the timeline. We have understood the timeline. I don't think there's any important thing you have to share here. I don't think there's any important thing you have to share here again. So there's no important thing I have to share here. So I'm just going to zoom and move to where I want to. This is where I stood here. To when I started moving. Okay. This is what I'm going to cut. This is what I need. This is exactly what I need. So I'm just going to delete this one. I'm going to cut this one. quickly this one and delete it. And I just want to zoom in. I want to pick my result to press C on my keyboard to bring my result to, and I want to cut there, cut that. I want to select, click on V and select this one and delete it. So I delete the space in between. So I just move from here. I just move from here and I go into the house. So that's a simple video. And I dust my leg and I go into the house. So that's just that. So thank you very much. I hope you understood this part of the video. If you can always go back, rewind, so that you can get the explanation of the video. So you can get the explanation of the video. The explanation you can. Don't forget to go back so that you can get the explanation of the video. If you missed any parts, you can always rewind so you can understand those parts. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. So in the next video, we'll learn how to do our finishing touches on all our projects. And I'll still explain some other parts of the panels. Next video, I'll explain some other parts of the panels and the learning and the tabs and the menu bar. So just stick with me. I'll explain some other parts of the panel. So see you in the next video. Do it to subscribe and share to your friends. Thank you for watching. See you later.